So Michael, it was great to have you. Unfortunately, I didn't get much in the way of video here, but just looking at this in slow motion, everything looked pretty good. Look at your arms, nice movement. You were running fairly forward, but unfortunately, as I said, there's not a whole lot of footage. Now, on the other hand, I got lots of footage of you swimming. So here we go. We got that right arm. We know we really need to work on the flexibility of your back. That is the primary focus because until I can get that elbow to come up and over to your head, I'm never going to get those hands to go in. But you can see the splashing. It's the splashing we want to pay such attention to because boom, right there. You are throwing so much force down on the water, and that's the reason why you cannot get your hips up. As you push down on the water in the front of your body, your hips go down into the water. So it lifts by pushing down with your arms, lifts your chest up out of the water, pushes your hips down in the water. So let's take a look under the water here. So you can see that downward action. Anytime you push down, you use a ton of force. Look how much twisting of your spine there is. So again, your hips are along for the ride. Look at that spine twisting. You're driving from the shoulder. You're driving down into the water. What we want to do is drive forwards and then get a catch and pull backwards. So I want you to compare this now to that Mr. Smooth in Swim Smooth and compare to see how he goes forward, tips his arm, and drives back. But when you see, you're barely pulling back. You're pulling back just the last right there, and it's leading with the elbow. You want to lead with the hand. So you want your forearm to at least be vertical. So it's only really when you're vertical you create a maximum power backwards, which for you is less than a foot. So that would be the primary thing after working on the flexibility of your shoulder, because those are two of the greatest things that you could do to improve your overall swim stroke. Okay, so remember, really working on more of that catch-up. That's one of the things to look at. Is when does your hand enter in? I'll tell you when your hands should enter in, right now, but it enters now. Right now, but it enters now. So you can see how late your hand is because you're doing a full windmill action. And you're well past your power phase in the swim stroke is right here. And that's when your other arm should be entering in. Alrighty? So straight on shot. You don't cross over much, which is good, but you can see how the whole arm comes in. We want that image of sliding your arm into a sleeve. So it should be down into the water, fingers, wrist, elbow, shoulder into the water, and driving forward. You want to create more overlap. So let's see this in slow motion. You should also see no bubbles coming off the top of your hand. Bubbles coming off the top of the hand is a downward motion. Notice that when you finally start to pull the water, the bubbles disappear. Okay, so really important to note that it's because that downward action is really showing how much force, all that force right there, all that force right there, none of it is propelling you forward. You need to get that force going, your arm pointing backwards so that you can drive it back. All right, so really pay some attention to understanding about getting your arm in, getting what we call early vertical forearm, and getting that pull back. But again, I think you're going to have a lot of difficulty getting that if you don't improve your shoulders and getting your ability to bring that arm up and over top of your body. Remember, the other thing we talked about though is making sure that your hips are driving, not your shoulders. Look at your shoulders. Look how much work your shoulders are doing versus look at how much work your hips are doing. Your hips are really along for the ride. We want to see your hips driving as hard as your shoulders are. Alrighty? So above the water, last shot. These shots really show how much work's being done at the shoulders and that the hips are really just trying to keep up. And you can see, because if you slow this down in the next frame, I'm going to slow it down for you, you're going to see how the shoulders are driving and then the hips. See how the hips rock to the other side right after you drive your arms forward? That's how we know. And look at how much twisting of your spine there is. There should be no twisting in the spine. The whole torso should be rocking as one unit back and forth. Let's see this in slow motion. See the movement in the shoulders? Now look at your hips. See how they're following? Shoulders, then hips. Shoulders moving, then the hips. So the hips are not doing anything. You want everything to move as one. You're very powerful through the shoulders, but you need to use that power with your core and with your hips, and you need to get that early vertical forearm and improve your shoulders. Great job. We'll talk to you soon. Cheers. Bye-bye.